Thank you, Wilco. The cloud is often today a key ingredient in disrupting an industry. Our next presenter is disrupting the world of supplier funding. Elevaate is the name of the company, and they're solving the challenge of building a new supplier funding platform with the Rackspace private cloud. And here's a video to explain more about Elevaate.
Elevaate is a cloud merchandising platform. We're trying to take supplier funding that exists in the physical world online to help suppliers be able to position their product in the digital space. We needed to prove right from day one that we were scalable, we were secure, we were a safe partner for them to be able to work with. And doing that as a startup is a real challenge. Working with partners like Rackspace really helped bring that to life for our retailers. We've served over 2.5 million products through the platform already onto retailer sites. We are hoping to build a massive cloud business, and having Rackspace as a partner in that is really exciting.
Would you please welcome the CEO of Elevaate, Simon Harrow. Simon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Simon Harrow. I am the CEO of Elevaate. To add some context to the story I'm going to talk to you about today, I was previously the Chief Operating Officer of Kiddie Care, and we were acquired by Morrisons in 2011. I spent a couple of years working for that business. So what we are talking about today is about what we are planning to disrupt, and we are planning to disrupt in a big way. We get very excited by businesses that are trying to take on massive challenges, global challenges that have real impact for people and organizations. So what we are trying to do is bring offline promotional mechanics that you probably all know very well as consumers into the online space. So when you walk down a supermarket store and you see Coke or Jaffa Cakes on the end aisle, they have been paid to be placed there by those suppliers. And the reason they do that is because they get a massive uplift in volume when they do so. And this is to the tune of huge sums of money, hundreds and hundreds of million pounds per retailer for the big boys, into the billions globally. We actually believe it's about 4.5 times bigger than the marketing budget for some of these FMCG brands. But there seemed to be a massive hole. And that hole was all this effort, all this specialty knowledge and about how you merchandise a physical store didn't seem to have been translated into how you merchandise your digital stores, which were increasingly becoming a very key play for these retailers. Our insight for this came from our experiences at Kiddie Care, actually. So we opened a 40,000-foot showroom in a place called Peterborough, just north of London. And all of our suppliers came out of the woodwork and said, hey, can we pay to put stands in this store? We said yes, of course. But we couldn't really understand why there wasn't more appetite to do this online. Our store was about 5% of our business turnover. So we set out to build an internal tool that would allow us to replicate this online, and it was hugely successful. 10% of our EBITDA profits in the first year came from this program. The suppliers that participated got a 30% uplift in volume, and we thought we were onto something really interesting. After Morrisons acquired us, that program unfortunately died a little bit of a death due to other focuses. But it kept nagging at us. Why isn't this being done? Why isn't this in a way that can scale and add real value to retailers and suppliers in a world where we believe the relationships are fundamentally broken? So we've come out of that retail business and started Elevaate. We're about 18 months old. And what you'll see up on the screens here is what we serve. So we allow suppliers, alongside their retailers, to strategically promote product on the retail website, completely in line with the customer experience. Add to baskets, wish lists, TripAdvisor review data, all of it is served. Those top 2 hotels, the products on the right-hand side, on the Waitrose side, on the left-hand side, all us. The reason we're so excited by this is because using cloud, we're going to be able to build something very quickly, very aggressively, that is going to scale to allow us to go after very big customers. We've already seen in 6 weeks, which is how long we've been live, we really are a new company. As the video said, about 2.5 million products served through our platform. If you then think about the impact that online is having in the way people shop, not just online, okay? Growth of online, all the rest of it, mobile's becoming massive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But actually, what's really important is what online does in terms of influencing the journey offline. Some of the early data that we've seen, we're getting about a 2.17% click-through rate on the products that we're serving through our platform. So to be very clear, we are not an advertising engine. We are not an advertising platform in any way, shape, or form. If you compare that to the average click-through rate on Google AdWords, which is 2%, you compare that to the average Facebook click-through, which is 0.118, and you compare that to banner advertising, which is 0.003, all of a sudden, despite the fact that we're not an ad platform, we suddenly become the most effective marketing solution for suppliers to put money into. And the reason for that is that we're contextual. We allow suppliers to promote their product in the places where consumers are shopping. To bring that to life for you, a really great example, if you are buying a TV and you go onto an electrical retailer's website, Currys, Best Buy, John Lewis, Argos, take your pick. Sony, Panasonic spend millions of pounds developing new products, millions of pounds promoting those products. Yet because those retailers often sort their listing pages by best-selling, that product is at the bottom of page 8. Not visible to you as a consumer, unlikely to be bought, not great for Sony or Panasonic, and not great for the retailer either. So what we believe is that by using a platform that allows suppliers to come in and have an influence into how those products are positioned to support offline promotional activity, support new product launches, all of a sudden we get to a way where we create a win for everybody. The retailer gets support to maintain and grow and invest into their digital platforms, which are increasingly becoming more costly as they become more important to them as businesses. The suppliers get an opportunity to drive sales and volume in a way that they've never had an opportunity to before. And customers get the opportunity to see new or promotional products, which we think is really important. So as I said, we're about 6 weeks in. We are live with a number of sites with a load more to come, and we've got some pretty big brands engaging with us already. I'm very proud that we won Retail Week Startup of the Year this year and have been shortlisted already at the Tech and Ecom Awards for our work with Iceland. All of that has been possible because we have built something with scale in mind from day one. We've thought about this business multilingual, multi-currency, multi-geography, multi-vertical from day one. All that's been possible with the help of Rackspace, bringing expertise into our business that we didn't necessarily have internally. For such a young business, there's quite a few of us actually. There's about 25 people involved in the business in one form or another, and some very bright people. But nobody has all the answers. And I think probably the first takeout from me is always strive to build partnerships with people, whether it be Rackspace or any of your suppliers, because they ultimately know their vertical, their sector better than anybody else. And I don't think enough companies ask their partners for help. It becomes a one-way relationship. And actually, if you understand to try and build them two-way, you get far more value. So I really want to touch on how Rackspace have helped us as a business over the last 18 months. And they've been involved in this journey right from day one. We were Rackspace customers at Kiddicare and at Morrison's, and we brought those relationships with us for a very good reason. You know, when you start a new venture, you have an opportunity to start with a clean slate, right? We had zero code, zero infrastructure. And we chose our partners very carefully because we knew that we needed support and we needed a great team around us. So the first one, as I've touched on, is really around industry expertise. Okay? And I mean this for Rackspace as well as everyone else, as I said, but I'm also going to be a champion up here for startups. There is a huge amount of fear around working with startups in the UK. A lot of the innovation talk that you'll read about or hear other people talk about quite often is lip service. They think they should be saying it and therefore do. I will absolutely go on record. Technology is very rarely, if ever, the blocker. The blocker is nearly always the culture of the organisation. And people are approaching that in different ways. Some people are setting up labs in order to be able to operate projects outside of the confines of their normal culture. Other people are making real efforts to fundamentally change their organisational culture to be able to innovate quicker and work with startups. And the reason I champion startups is there is some brilliant tech in the UK. The startup scene here is absolutely phenomenal. Some really bright people building some incredible products that will solve real problems. And they have expertise in what they do. They live and breathe this. You know, it is their livelihood, it is their passion. Lean on that expertise. Same goes for Rackspace. Huge expertise in that business. Make sure you talk to them. The next thing for us was very simply the fact that because we were a startup, we needed to demonstrate to our enterprise customers that actually we were secure, scalable, safe, all of the things that they needed and rightly want to hear. You know, as businesses, we have a responsibility to protect our customers. We were no different. And the security that Rackspace gave us to be able to take into those retailers was really, really critical for us. The big added value, and for me, this is the litmus test for whether I want to work with somebody or not, is do they have skin in the game? Do they emotionally connect with my business, my function, my department, my teams? Do they care enough that when things go wrong, and they will go wrong, everybody knows that, whether you're right at the front of technology and at the innovation or whether you're trying to just get through the days, things break, things go wrong. Are they going to get into the trenches with you? Are they going to be there to help as a team get out, as an extended part of your team? For us, Rackspace do that in leaps and bounds. Everything from the account management all the way through to the technical guys absolutely and fundamentally understand our business, understand the problems we face, and are there to help us solve the problems and challenges we encounter. Finally, they prove that we can scale. We run tests at the moment, 18 months out against our forecasts, to make sure that we've got an infrastructure and an architecture behind our platform that means we are always thinking ahead. We're working on our next generation architecture for this business. We are talking to enterprise customers globally that serve millions and billions of impressions. We need to ensure that we've got a system that as we land them, we're going to be able to support as we grow. So the lessons that we've learned has been an interesting journey for us as a group of individuals over the last few years. We went from running and being involved in a family entrepreneurial business that was right at the cutting edge of everything that we did. The way that we thought, the risks that we took, a really fun and interesting and engaging place to work. We were bought by a £18 billion turnover grocer who were phenomenal at store operations, but culturally were not ready to be online. We were the vehicle they were going to use to get online. Whether you are talking about internal relationships with people in your own organization, or whether you're talking about relationships and partnerships with external suppliers, it is about aligning those cultures as best you can. The next lesson that we learned was around the journey that we're on, and to always think about building a foundation while looking to move forward. So one of the best examples I can use for this is another solutions provider called Monetate. Monetate is a A/B personalization and testing tool, phenomenal piece of kit that allows a huge amount of flexibility. So much so that we could change anything on our site in real time. The danger of that is that you could layer upon layer, upon layer, upon layer. And all of a sudden, you had absolutely no idea what your base website looked like anymore. So we had a hard rule in the business. You would make a change in Monetate to get something done instantaneously, speed, agility, all that good stuff. You had to go and make the change in the base. Overnight, the base updated. You turned off Monetate. You did it again. Think about your businesses like that. Think about creating an amazing foundation that if you do take one more step towards the edge, where all the fun stuff is, and something goes a little bit wobbly, you've got a really solid footing that you can easily step back to that means nothing else is going to fall over. Innovation risk, it doesn't have to be massive leaps. It's constant iteration, time and time again, day in, day out, hour in, hour out. The third one probably puts that to the test the most, which is about running with live customers. At some point, you just have to push the big red button. I talk to colleagues in multiple retail businesses around the country, and so often they have got phenomenal ideas that they have built and have had in test for 9 months. Because nobody has hit the button that says, let's try it. There is enough solutions out there, there is enough technology out there to be able to do that stuff in a controlled way. Selected segments of customers, certain geographies, whatever it is. Put it on the line. Go for it, try it, get some insight, get some data, iterate, and then go again. And the last thing for me is to think really big, right from the outset. It would have been very easy for us to think about Elevaate as a cloud business specifically targeted at the grocery sector in the UK. We had experience there, we knew what we were doing, we had the contacts, the relationships, we knew that we could build a great product of huge value in that sector. But we didn't want to think like that. We wanted to think and challenge ourselves. What does this look like in America? What does it look like in Asia Pacific? What does it look like in Europe? What does it look like in the pharmaceutical world, in the travel world, in general merchandising? What does it look like for digital goods as well as physical? I don't think enough people give themselves enough credit within organizations to think way beyond their remit. Because if you do that, what ultimately you end up building is far beyond what you would have if you start with such a narrow and constricted view of what you're trying to achieve. So the lessons that we've learned over kiddie care through Morrisons, through Elevaate, are serving us really well in this venture. It's about working with great people, partners, about having a great culture with your teams internally. It's about taking some risk, being brave, leaning on those that have got expertise. It is really hard out there. It's really hard to do your job day in, day out. Pressure's coming left, right, and center. Try and find time to breathe, find some headspace, because the next great thing, whether it be for you personally or whether it be for your business, with the cloud, is more accessible than ever. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.